Mr. David Mui is a seasoned HR professional with experience spanning 3 decades. He has worked in leading organizations like Deloitte, Johnson and Hygienes, International Computer Limited, Eastman, Escort Consulting Group, DHL, Chubb Asia, and JDSU. He has been in leadership position for last 25 years, working very closely with business leaders. His expertise with staffing, diversity and inclusion, training and development, compensation and benefits, and HR services has helped streamline focus in business and gain productivity. His core competencies include strategic thinking and execution, human capital, leadership, change management, problem solving, organization design, performance management, consulting, executive, and career coaching. In his current role as a practice leader at InfoWorks Institute, he leads the change and transformation practice that focuses on business agility and agile people operations. He also manages change initiatives, including mergers and acquisitions, restructuring, and digital organization. He holds a PhD and has accomplished PGDMS from City University of Hong Kong, Executive HRM certification from University of Michigan, and MSc from University of London. He is a Scrum certified master. He is also a certified professional management consultant. It's our privilege to have Mr. David here on this webinar. Now, I would like to hand it over to him to provide his insight on HR landscape in new normal era. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? I just want to confirm that the participant can hear me okay. And
yes,
yeah, okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, that's good. Let me share my PowerPoint if I can. Let me do it. Everyone can hear me okay. I'm so glad that I got the opportunity, have been invited to join the event, and I heard a lot of good message delivered earlier. And I'm so honored that I have a chance to share with you my observation regarding the HR transformation from my perspective. To do that, I will give you a little bit overview on myself. I believe that the host and moderator have done a great job already. And so that I would not spend too much time on that. I've been in the HR professional for a long period of time, but most of my job are not directly on HR operation or HR day-to-day thing. Actually, I've been doing a lot of business-related job, including merger acquisition, restructuring. I also work in consulting practice before. That gave me a very unique background. And recently, I'm doing a lot of agile-related business on change and transformation, and also working with some government subvented organization on AI and robotic initiatives. That is a slight background. And I'm working at the InfoWorks Institute, which is a consulting firm. We do research, training, and consulting with a headquarters in Australia. So I will not spend too much time on that. And I believe that most of the participants are learning HR or with an HR background. And my team job now is to develop the agile leaders in the HR organization as well as in the general organization. This is my job. Okay. First of all, I would like to introduce my agenda for this afternoon. I try to divide my presentation into 4 key areas. First of all, I want to walk you through a little bit about the business challenges that we are facing. I believe that all of us have know it already. We are facing the challenges every day in, day out. I believe that a lot of you couldn't go to school or university, and a lot of people have to work from home. This is the reality that we are facing. Now, I want to share a little bit more about the challenges that leading to the management shift. Actually, it's a business shift and leading to a business agility. Then the last part, I want to talk a little bit more about the new HR transformation. I believe that HR is undergoing a lot of transformation, not only on the work level, but our role level. What kind of role, what kind of value that we are bringing to the organization, bring to the business. That's how I want to proceed with today's sharing. Hope that makes sense to you. Okay, I believe that a lot of you have come to know this term quite often. Possibly if you go to the Google search or go to whatever search engine, you will find that VUCA has been used very often in the last 12 months because with the COVID-19 and starting everywhere, um, business organization or business and academics are using VUCA to want to highlight to those people. This is really the environment that we are facing. And possibly you know it quite well, so that I'm not going to spend time on explaining it. But you can tell we are living in a world of a lot of uncertainty. But to me, we need to understand something we cannot control, like the COVID-19. I saw that a lot of people spending a lot of time, particularly HR professional, focusing a lot of time, like in Hong Kong, in Singapore, teaching the people how to provide work from home policy. I think that is the issue. I think that is not more than that because I believe that COVID-19 is something you and I cannot control. No one knows what is happening exactly. What we are waiting is only the vaccine that help to cure the virus or the virus. So we cannot do much about it. But what I want to share with you today or this afternoon is about really what we should look beyond the COVID-19. And so let me walk you through my logic and background. First of all, we are facing the uncertain and very chaotic world. The situation, of course, we all know that about the COVID-19. No one knows what is going on. No one knows how we can get recover, and a lot of place shut down, and nothing you can do, nothing I can do. Other than that, you will see around the world that there are a lot of demonstration due to different reasons. I live in Hong Kong. We participate in a lot of social movement as well, and a lot of demonstration going for the human rights and everything everywhere. And possibly you also know that in the US, they got a Black Lives Matter. I believe that the racial issue is one big thing. Finally got the world attention, which is not bad because people start to realize the human right from a different angle. Other than that, I think you folks come to know that in the last couple of months, more and more international company they are moving their supply chain due to the COVID-19 on one hand, but on the other hand, it's due to some political reason. I believe that India is one of the places that is a receiving end. Like Apple is investing heavily in building plants to do the iPhone, iPad cell assembling. But I believe that it's not only India. Actually, the supply chain world is moving so quickly. People are changing their supply chain setting. And more manufacturing are moving to India, Indonesia, and Malaysia, and of course to Mexico as well. And you can see the world is changing so differently. Of course, you all possibly know that nowadays more and more of those supply chain are changing the way of moving goods from traditional sea or whales or to airline more. Another trend happening around us is more about the robotic. I don't know much about the robotic development in India, but I come to know that there are a lot of robotic development in China, in Hong Kong. Possibly you know that a lot of logistic company like Amazon, even though those are uh, mailing service, the post office, they deploy robotic to help to move goods and sort out stuff for us. And the Internet of Things, possibly most of the participants here, you enter the world starting to use the technology. We know that Internet of Things is the key thing around us, and we connecting to the internet through different devices, either through a line or wireless, especially with the cell phone development, 5G deployment around the world. And you possibly know that nowadays a lot of countries, they are using 5G network as a way to connect manufacturing. And people will no longer need to travel around, and basically they can place the order from home and get the product right away. Of course, as I mentioned, I also work on the AI thing. AI is a big thing. I believe that India has been doing a lot of good stuff in AI programming. And actually, I believe that a lot of country around the world and outsource a lot of AI programming to India. Possibly, you know, that is a big thing. And other than those technological environment on COVID-19, I believe that possibly you know that our workplace is no longer the same. A lot of people didn't place a lot of attention. I believe that there is one topic on the and the generational challenges, which is the tomorrow session. Is it? I think is that I cannot hear you, or is that someone call?
Sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir, you
I
are
think it's
audible.
okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, what I want to highlight to you all is that nowadays in the workplace, we got a lot of people come from different generation. In the past, this is not a topic on the management agenda because we just ignore it. But nowadays, we find that different generation in the workplace bring in different values. We have different background, different knowledge and different experiences. With the management agenda focusing on the innovation customer side, we will know that we need a lot of new idea. So we need to leverage on a diverse workforce to make the world working or make the customer happy. So if you look at all those challenges happen around us, this is the issue from my perspective we should pay more attention to. I'm not saying that COVID-19 is not important, but I'm saying that COVID-19 is something you and I can do nothing about it. You and I just have to find a way to manage our emotion, manage our health, and maintain the momentum and to dance with it. But we cannot control and make it go away. My assumption regarding the new normal, a lot of people keep on saying about the new normal. Actually, I have a very different view about new normal. I believe that there's no new normal because no one knows what is going on or what will be coming. So to me, possibly I will shape the new normal is that in the future, we are entering into a generation that we are facing a lot of changes. Change happen very fast, but nowadays this round I would imagine changes is not the traditional way. Possibly we would like to use more about the transformation, which is totally different. I'm going to explain a little bit more about from that angle. I believe that the new normal is that we will be keep on changing the way we work, changing the way we create value, changing the mindset, and turn out we have to transform ourselves as well as the business. The turnout people start to propose because of the worker is talk about the chaotic and people propose from an academic perspective is that, okay, if we, in case we want to address the worker, we need to have a vision, we need to have an understanding, we need to have clarity as well as agility as a way to counter the chaotic. Okay, I believe that makes sense. Okay, then that lead to the situation we are proposing a new way of thinking. And at the same time, we are facing a lot of new technological development, and like today's events called HR 5.0. Possibly you know that in the general world economy, we are using the industrial 4.0, and actually in a number of the developed country or city, we start adopting a different concept called business or enterprises 4.0. And to a large extent is related to digital transformation, because a lot of company and start realizing the big data as well as technology now, they are relatively accessible, and also the cost is very manageable. Okay, and possibly you come to know that there are a lot of new development around the world, and AI, robotic, which I mentioned earlier. And nowadays, people, when you go to work, you are no longer going to a dedicated office. Possibly co-sharing is a new model around the world. I believe that more and more co-sharing place or co-working place will happen in India as well. And that kind of development. I'm not going into the detail of those, but I would like to highlight to you all, we will find that in the future, it's not, we are already in that movement already. You will find that a lot of company, they are able to be successful and profitable because they are deploying and using new technology. And there's another stream going on. You talk about the new technology application. I believe that there's very, very relevant. And we use a lot of new technology. Possibly some of you folks may know that nowadays HR is also using a lot of new technology, including AI, use AI to do the analysis and big data analyzing the candidates. There are some organizations are even using the robotic application to help the AI to help the HR to do the job. Here are just some of those organizations that I would like to highlight a little bit. They are basically leveraging on the technology to build a new business model and making a lot of profits. Possibly you and I come to know them quite well. But I would like to draw a little bit of attention or your attention to the digital transformation. You need to understand the digital transformation from a different perspective. It's not just an application or using it like we have a cell phone. And actually, there are a lot of technology in the cell phone. But I want to draw your attention to the situation is that digital transformation has 4D. I borrowed the concept from exponential organization. They identify there are 4Ds of digital transformation. The first one is digitalize or digitize. In the past, you and I, when we go to university, if we want to do a registration of some of the courses we want to attend, this is the time I went to university, and we need to fill in the form and submit the form to the registration or student registration and wait for their confirmation. But nowadays, we are using different way of enrollment or registration. Basically, I would say almost all the universities nowadays are using some form of electronics registration form. And there will be no longer any paper forms for you to fill in. And you got a form in your email box, then you just type in and do a pick and choose. That kind of process. Actually, it's a digitize the paper and not really a lot of big thing, but digitize in the or transformation nowadays. Because if you look around, almost every single organizations is doing some kinds of transformation. I'm not talking about changes. I'm talking about transformation. Transformation is talk about you are no longer doing the same thing the same old way. Like I give you an example. To be honest, I don't know well enough the adoption of the electronics payment in India, but I know that there are a lot of companies that are doing that kind of business in India. But you will know that around the world, there are a lot of countries that nowadays they put fintech as a top priority. Nowadays, a lot of cell phone, smartphone particular, you may have one or two wallets, or even like Apple. I use Apple. Apple Pay is a way for you to make payment with a level of security. But other than that, you'll find there are a lot of virtual banking around the world. They are changing the way of payment. In the past, we got currency, but nowadays the currency possibly disappear. There's a lot of things go into your cell phone, and when you go to buy things, probably you go through the internet transfer or use a cell phone. This is the way of transformation. You are doing the old activities, but a very different way of doing things. Okay, that is same for business. I can tell you that almost every single banks in the world is doing some kind of transformation. Some are very aggressively. Okay, but is HR ready? From my perspective, may not. That is one of the things that probably make you uncomfortable. I personally don't believe that HR is ready for the future of work. Uh, at least for my generation. For you, possibly it's a good news. Good news in a sense that because as a senior HR professional, we may still holding a senior position, but a lot of senior HR are not ready for the change. Let me explain in a second. First of all, from my perspective, actually, when I study and teaching at the university, we have at that time we have already advocate a term. We believe that HR is already a wrong term from an academic perspective. That doesn't mean that I don't use the term, but I would say HR is already a wrong term. Why do I say it that? Because human resources is still seeing human is a resources. Human is not necessarily a human being in that description. Human is just a resources to get work done. So that is the original definition. So at that moment of time when we change from personnel management to human resources, we are not really changing a lot, and we are still adopting human is just one of the resources like capital or land. But nowadays, why am I saying that it is wrong term? If you go into the linking government because of the more and more international company going into India, and there will be less administrative paperwork. But you will find that in the future, we will not be spending too much time on those administrative. But more importantly, we need to find a role in an organization that we can contribute and create value. And from our organization perspective, there are at least 8 roles we believe that will be critical in the future. If you are talking about facing the new normal, if you recall that my new normal definition is about continuous transformation. You will find that in order to have a continuous transformation, you require a new way of HR practices or new people practices. The first one I call it business agility leadership. We have to be a leader, HR as a leader, driving for business agility, working with the CEO or whosoever as a leader. The second area is a strategic people translator, because translating business to the people practice is not that easy. And human capital curator, how to advocate the human element, the human capital value. The fourth, from my perspective, is the people and team culturator. We will, because the new organizational design are mostly in team-based or project-based instead of the department. you will find that more and more company will do away the department, division kind of terminology, and they use more team. It's really cross-functional team. Agile people ops, I believe that there's a good speaker will be speaking to tomorrow on the agile people, so that I will skip that. Cultural developer, in order to be a very agile organization, we need to have the culture. We need to do things very differently, like ethics I mentioned earlier. Mistake is not a problem as long as you know why you make a mistake. Because in the new way of doing things is that you keep on making mistakes, you don't know the new world. And another role is the lean allocator. Organization need to be very simple and very straightforward. And we use a lot of technology to help us to get things done. And lastly, but not the least, is the diversity and inclusion champion, which, if you remember, one of the workplace challenges is the different generation. We have diverse team. We got different gender, different sex orientation, different kind of value, different behavior. And how can we work together and appreciate the differences, at the same time able to leverage the difference to get a better job done. To do that, I want to offer you with a roadmap because as a student, I mean, I know there are a lot of students joining the event. Um, the I mentioned a little bit earlier is that you are in a good positioning because the current HR will be going away in some way. A lot of old role will no longer be relevant. To do that, you need to go through a new roadmap. Having a degree is important in HR as a entry ticket, but you will find that there are a lot of new knowledge you need to learn. So from our perspective, the first thing is to learn. We start off by learning new things, understanding the world, understanding the future of work, and then work with people or with your professor to do reflection. What will be happening? We know that we cannot predict, but the reflection is more important is to ask ourselves, are we ready? Do we have the ability to adjust and adopt and be flexible to deal with the future? Because the future has a lot of uncertainty. And then we also need to unlearn. Unlearn, what do we need to unlearn? You'll find that actually, I mean, I taught at the university as well. You will find that we need to unlearn a lot of old theories. Isn't it? A lot of degree programs are designed using a lot of old theories, which is outdated. I'm not saying that you should not learn it, but I'm saying that you should not take it as a authority because the new world is demanding a very new way of theories. So you need to unlearn those things that are no longer relevant. Then you go through the transition and transform. And when you enter into the workplace, you are able to start creating values, working with other people to create value for the organization. But the new way of doing things is that you don't know whether the new way can get it done. So you need to go through the experiment. You try out to do the prototype and test it to get feedback and then enhance it. And more or less like the plan to check at the quality or continuous improvement. And you will do a lot of retrospective or reflection afterward to make sure that you got the right thing, right theory. Sometimes you may get the theory wrong. Sometimes you may get just do the thing differently. But by having a lot of retrospective, you help to improve your way of doing things, help to improve the learning. Possibly you can tell that by doing that, you will require a lot of continuous learning, even after graduate, even after you entering into the workplace. From my perspective, I share a lot about the future. Some of those you may not fully agree. I can understand, but you can tell the world is changing. You and I are experiencing a change. It is your choice to decide whether you want to change it, because that requires additional effort. Okay, so this is my sharing. I'm not sure whether still have time to answer some question you may have.
Yes, sir. Actually, we are running short of time. But before we proceed to question and answer, I would like to thank you, sir, for having this enlightenment session on VUCA world. In the world of challenges, being ready ahead of time can help in bringing effectiveness about the company. When we are talking about agility, resilience, diverse workforce, diversities, inclusion, these are not just the buzzwords. They are actually very important when we are talking about new generation HR. Thank you, sir, for guiding us on the future roadmap of HR, like cloud-based apps or IoT or machine learning, artificial intelligence, etc. And yes, sir, we know new normal is change and we are facing the heat. It's very difficult that we are not ready yet for this rapid transformation. But the 4Ds were really the key takeaways. And thank you so much, sir. We are very fortunate that you are here and we are listening to you live. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Over to you,
thank you for
Rishi.
that.
Thank you, Dr. Swati, and thank you so much, sir, for your kind information. Now, yes, a very good information that you have provided with regards to agile, and with regards to the about the AI transformation. What I like about is about your 4 points which you have mentioned, that is the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Now, since we have a paucity of time, we can take up only one question as of now. Now, this question is straight away coming from Prasad. He is asking that will it help if the HR graduates also start learning coding software language? Is it going to be necessary going forward?
You mean foreign language?
Yeah, I'm talking about the learning coding and software languages.
Okay, I don't know to be honest. Because my background is in HR, but possibly you will find that a lot of HR, a lot. Um, I mean, just use myself as example. Possibly you can learn how to do the coding. I don't know the best easy way because possibly I'm not in the right generation to comment. But I would say if you are able to at least not necessarily the coding level because we are our value is not by adding on the coding, but I believe that as a student you will have a little bit more time than you enter before you enter into workplace. It would be good that HR people start to learn more about technological development or advancement. We need to know what is going on out there, how the technology is evolving. Because the more important is that the HR need to have the knowledge to talk to your colleagues. You can imagine in the future there will be much more technological related jobs than the traditional serving job, isn't it? If you are working in a technology company, you need to able to understand your peers' job and understand the world is trending. Like say, I gave an example earlier is that you don't need to know how to do the coding, but you might need to not fear about using AI for job selection because there are a lot of AI based recruitment tools out there. And because traditionally we believe that we know how to do the selection better than a machine. But actually nowadays people are building in by using machine learning, a lot of big data, and make the technological prediction a better predictor than human decision. So in that case, if you are fear to adopt, then possibly you may not be able to create the value or to the organization. So whether coding is a priority, I don't know, but I believe that we need to understand the technology development, not worry about it, and possibly we also need to dance with it. Yeah, that's my observation.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, you are absolutely right. Indeed, we have to go as per the market trends. We need to understand what is more important in the market, what is more demanding in the market, and accordingly, we have to pitch in. Right. So saying this, as I said that we have a little time, we have a paucity of the time. I would quickly like to thanks once again to you, sir, for giving a very detailed information about what exactly, the agile and the AI models are and how exactly it is going to be important and it is going to impact the future HR as well. I will be quickly moving to the next speaker, Mr. Rishi Kumar. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, David, for joining all the way. And
tool which are already in place that you don't have to do any of these things whenever it comes to the compensation process. You give your logic, you discuss your the way you want to do it with these organizations, and they will put this algorithm in place, and everything would be calculated automatically. And this is not only happening for the compensation. This thing has been happening for the incentives also. So last thing which I want to cover, and which is I think everybody would be more interested in the current realm, is that the entire focus, as I was mentioning in the beginning, from compliance to well-being, is people are working from home. Now the technology is going to shift in a very big way. So when I say big way, let's talk about the safety and the cyber security. Earlier, when you were working in an organization, you were going office from say morning to evening, and you were using it on the company network. So in that way, you were typically working out of a castle, right? You're on the company network, everything is secured. What you're working now, everybody is working from their home. People are on their private Wi-Fi's, they might be on public Wi-Fi's, they might be on the mobile data. Now, the entire focus of cybersecurity is now shifting from your chief information officer, CIO, or the entire the IT team, to the employee himself or herself. So now, no matter what kind of VPN you put in place, no matter how much restrictions you put in place, so when you go to office, you can't access some of these websites which are not trusted, right? To make sure that no data is breach is happening. But now when people are on their personal network, when they are on the public network, out of their office, how do you ensure that people won't be accessing where the data doesn't get stealed from their computers or from their laptops? In that case, thing which, like, there's one thing which becomes really critical and important here is that, how do we educate the employees that, you don't visit these websites, or you use, that's the way you use the network. So the entire shift you could see here is now again shifting from the IT team to the employees when it comes to the cybersecurity or um, say safety at workplace. So these were the piece I wanted to cover last. We have good 5 minutes. I have one more topic, but if somebody has any questions, please type in the chat. I could see there's one already. If somebody wants to, okay, there is no question so far. If you have any questions, please do let me know. I will wait for 10 seconds. Otherwise, I have something else that I would like to cover. But I would be more than happy to talk about questions, because whatever I'm speaking, you'll find